अपनी अनंत किरणें पाए सा पसारे, अपनी अनंत किरणें पाए सा पसारे। गुण शक्तियों की माला हमारे गले में डारे। बाबा तुम हमारे, ओ बाबा प्यारे प्यारे। शीतल सी ये रश्मियाँ हम पर बिखर रही हैं, आनंद की फुहारें प्रतिपल बरस रही हैं। शीतल सी ये रश्मियाँ हम पर बिखर रही हैं, आनंद की फुहारें प्रतिपल बरस रही हैं। अनुभूतियों में रंगे रूहानी ये इशारे। बाबा तुम हमारे, ओ बाबा प्यारे प्यारे। जो बीज में है एक विशाल तरवर समाया, तुम में होकर लवलीन तुम सा स्वरूप पाया। जो बीज में है एक विशाल तरवर समाया, तुम में होकर लवलीन तुम सा स्वरूप पाया। अव्यक्त है अनूठे न्यारे ये नजारे। बाबा तुम हमारे, ओ बाबा प्यारे प्यारे। हे ब्रह्म घर में ये अरुणिमा सी फैली है लाली। अनुपम ये शाश्वत है शांति सुख की छटा निराली। हे ब्रह्म घर में ये अरुणिमा सी फैली है लाली। शाश्वत है शांति सुख की छटा निराली। महाचंद्र को चैतन्य तारावली निहारे। बाबा तुम हमारे ओ बाबा प्यारे प्यारे। अपनी अनंत किरणें बाहें साफ सारे। अपनी अनंत किरणें बाहें साफ सारे। गुण शक्तियों की माला हमारे गले में डाले। बाबा तुम हमारे ओ बाबा प्यारे प्यारे। तुम हमारे ओ बाबा प्यारे प्यारे।
ओम शांति शांति। ओम शांति शांति। अंतर मन में ज्योति जगा लो, होगा दूर अंधेरा। शिव का कर लो ध्यान, आ रहा पावन पुण्य सवेरा। तुम हो कौन, कहाँ से आए, अपने आप को जानो। राजयोग के द्वारा अपना परम पिता पहचानो। इसी राजपथ पर चलकर तुम पालो अपना बसेरा। तुम हो आत्मा तन से न्यारे, परमात्मा को प्यारे। दिव्य गुणों को धारण करके योगी बनो दुलारे। ज्योति बिंदु ही तोड़ेगा ये माया मोह का घेरा। अंतर मन में ज्योति जगा लो, होगा दूर अंधेरा। ओम शांति। ओम शांति। ओम शांति।
Om Shanti. Good morning. So Baba is such an extraordinary teacher. And today he's encouraging us to become more soul conscious. And it's a question I often ask myself, that how far have I become soul conscious after all these years as a BK? How far have I really become soul conscious? Because have you ever heard a Murli where Baba doesn't mention children? Consider yourself a soul. Sometimes I think aligning my head with Baba's education takes time, because we're so used to education where we learn information, and all of us here are, we know so much about so many things. But I feel spiritual education is taking one idea. Baba gives us one idea: who am I? I am a soul. And there's this constant internal research to go deeper, 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 deeper. And ultimately, this is really our study, and why Baba just doesn't tell us new things every day. He's trying to take us deeper into what is really important. And if I really reflect on my own journey of soul consciousness, it's a lifelong learning, isn't it, really? Till the day we depart. We're on this journey. And when we come, how body conscious are we? And I was sharing somewhere yesterday that when I started, I met Daddy Janki with a friend that I'd started with. And she said, "Now what have you learned? We've been going for a few months." And my friend said, "I learned, Daddy, how body conscious I am." And Daddy went, "Right." You know what she was like. And it's true in a way that the more I begin to even get a little idea of the soul, I realize how deeply body conscious I've become. All those little sensitivities, all the little reactions, all the self-doubt, all that stuff is all the seed of falsehood, of forgetting who I am. But then my experience is often we go from body consciousness to what I sometimes call Brahman consciousness, which is what I sort of feel is more a belief. Because I now know all the intimate details and information about the soul, I think I'm soul conscious. And one of the big turning points for me in my Brahman life was in 1985. Baba got us to do the realization course in Madhavan. Who was there? Has anyone ever? And I'd been a BK for 10 years, and Baba said, "Do the course again." And you know what Baba said? He said, "You know the knowledge, you believe the knowledge, you teach the knowledge, but you don't experience the knowledge." And to me that just went click, This is really what the spiritual journey is. It's converting what I know into what I feel. And that's a bit of a challenge for us, because we're just used to, once I know information, that's it. I know the information. But how long does it take for the information to really go deep into my experience? And actually, Baba said, every point of knowledge has an associated experience. So the first step is to know, the second step is to believe. We're all there. The next 998 steps are educating myself to transform what I know and what I believe into a natural sense of soul consciousness. And then even I think after, Brahman consciousness, there's often action consciousness. And I don't know whether you remember, but many years ago, Baba had a period of Murlis where he said, it's not that you're soul conscious, but it's not that you're body conscious either, you're action conscious. And I think what happens is we come to Baba and we start to practice I'm a soul, I'm a soul. And we do have some experience. But because we overthink, because the addiction to overthinking about information, we meditate, we just think when we meditate. It sort of suppresses experience. The more we think, it sort of suppresses the feeling of being a soul. So sometimes in meditation I become a little bit bored, because I'm just sort of thinking, I'm not really feeling. And I need experience. And so what we've done, the methodology to experience for half a cycle is action. Do an action, someone will love you, or someone will respect you, or someone will praise you. And so unconsciously we slowly go into action. And that's why service becomes my whole thing, because I do service and I can get an immediate fruit. Trying to sit with my own thoughts and create an experience takes a lot of time and patience, doesn't it? And then there's, really going into soul consciousness. And as Daddy Ratan Mohini said, don't use words to understand the soul. Use information to understand, so use feelings to understand who you are. It's completely a feeling. And that's such a journey, isn't it, to really convert information into a real feeling about the nature of the eternal self. And I think that for me, the key for soul consciousness has been to experience I'm incorporeal. And I found that really takes me into a whole different sort of consciousness when I really taste the feeling that I'm non-physical. And that really takes me into more the experience of being a soul. But isn't it wonderful? How many times have we heard this, Baba speak about this? He's just constantly, because Baba's attention is to take us deeper and deeper and deeper. So the essence, sweet children, in order to become the Father's right hands, become righteous in everything. Always perform elevated actions. Question: which sanskara causes many obstacles in service? Which sanskara causes obstacles in service? No sanskaras. Too many. Because of the nature and feelings of souls, there is a conflict of sanskaras and many obstacles are caused in service. A lot of damage is caused by conflicting opinions. The evil spirit of anger is such that it doesn't take long for someone even to oppose God. So in Sakar days, even people would disagree with Baba. This is why Baba says, sweet children, if you have any such sanskara, remove it. And the song, I have come having awakened my flock. You sweetest spiritual children heard the song. You spiritual children, that is, you souls, who are the children of Shiv Baba, the Supreme Spirit, heard the song with the physical organs of your bodies. You children now have to become soul conscious. A lot of effort is required for this. Repeatedly consider yourselves to be souls and remember the Father. This effort of repeatedly remembering who I am, is incognito. The Father is incognito, and he makes you make incognito effort. The Father himself comes and says, children, remember me and you will once again become Sato Pradhan, just as you did 5,000 years ago. You children understand that you were Sato Pradhan and that you have now become Tamo Pradhan. You definitely do have to become Sato Pradhan. In the song it says, only the one Almighty Authority Father inspires you to make effort once again to attain the fortune that you lost, because he purifies everyone. The Father explains to you children, O spiritual children, you have now come to make your fortune. Those students go to school to make their fortune. They are only small children. You are no longer small. You have now grown up and are mature. You are making your fortune. Yes, there are some, I'll repeat that. There are some who are old. Don't think there's any here. No. Can anyone see anyone old here? Oh, Dorothy, you're very young. Here in how wonderful, such maturity we have. Yes, some are, I'll repeat this. Yes, there are some who are old. It is better to study when you are young than when you are old. The intellects of those who are young are better.
So what do you think after 50 years experience? When you were 50 years younger?
Well, Baba's just said it.
It's better now.
This is very easy for everyone. Your bodies have grown large. We can take that in many ways, can't we? I used to tease our very sweet brother Ken. I said, as expansion grew in Brazil, so did you as well. He's got a good sense of humour. So.
Always like that.
But
He was, at the time, he was not that good.
there's a photo of us in the museum in Mount Abu with Daddy G and all the daddies in 1976. And when I show it to people, Ken is so skinny, absolutely skinny, yeah. Anyway, we will back to the Muli. This one is a baby and wouldn't be able to understand much because his organs are still small. There must have been a child in the class. You can understand about defamation and praise, happiness and sorrow. A soul is just a point. Its body continues to grow. Souls always remain the same size. They never grow larger or smaller. The Father is now giving you musk as a gift for your intellects, because your intellects have become completely Tamo Pradhan. They are now becoming clean. These pictures are very useful for you to explain with. People on the path of devotion go and bow down in front of the deity idols and worship them. Previously, you used to go there with blind faith. You used to go to a Shiva temple, but you didn't know that he was Shiv Baba. I wonder what the devotees think when they go there and just see a stone. What's the real? You definitely received the inheritance from Baba, and this is why his praise is sung. When someone has done something very good in his lifetime, he is praised. You have to make a stamp of Shiv Baba. The stamp of Shiv Baba, the sermonizer of the Gita, can be created very easily. That Father, Shiv Baba, gives happiness to everyone. The Father says, I make you into the masters of the land of happiness. Even the old mothers can understand that they have come to Shiv Baba, who is without an image, and that he has entered this one with an image. Brahma Baba, the body. The incorporeal one is said to be the one without an image. It is in your intellects that you are going to Shiv Baba, who has adopted this image temporarily. He purifies the impure and grants them liberation and liberation in life. That is, he makes them into residents of the land of peace and the land of happiness. People try so hard to attain peace. How will they find peace?
Coming to Peace Village.
If they found God, they would find peace. They don't make any effort for happiness. They just want to go to the Father's home and find God. Everyone at this time wants liberation. Only you Brahmins receive liberation in life. All others want liberation. They just want to leave the world. There is no one who can show you the path to liberation in life. People go to the sannyasis and ask them for peace. They ask, how can we have peace of mind? The paths they show are all for going into liberation. It doesn't enter their intellects what eternal liberation is, what moksha is. The soul becomes free from its own impurity. They get distressed and say it is better to go into liberation. So rather than having freedom in life, it's best to die and go beyond all the sorrow. Once I was, there was an exhibition in Australia and I was taking a few people around and we had the cycle in the exhibition and I was talking to somebody about the Golden Age and he listened to the whole thing. He said, I don't want the Golden Age. I just want to go back. And there's a lot of people, and in a way it's beautiful, the drama, isn't it? Because people get what they want. I mean, a lot of people just feel life is just so challenging, it's better just to be liberated. In fact, the land of liberation is the residence of souls. All the children at all the centers know that we are claiming our fortune of the kingdom in that new world. Baba is giving us the kingdom of that new world. When will he give it? Will he give it in the old world or in the new world? The Father says, I come at the confluence age. I neither come in the golden age nor in the iron age. I come in between the two ages. The Father gives everyone salvation. He does not leave anyone in a state of degradation. Salvation and degradation cannot both exist at the same time. You children know that this old world is to be destroyed. That is why you must have no love for it. The intellect says that we truly are in the confluence age now. This old world is to change. The Father has now come and he says, I come at the confluence age of every cycle to liberate you from sorrow and take you to the gateway of Hari. Not Harry, but Hari. So Hari is the remover of sorrow. This is an aspect of knowledge. Haridwar is the gateway to Sri Krishna, or the land of Krishna. Acha. There is then also the Lakshman swing. First you go to Haridwar. The golden age is called Haridwar. Then they also show Rama, Lakshman, etc. Those things don't really exist. They are just stories that people have made up. How many brothers have they shown Rama having? He cannot have 4 brothers. It is only here that someone would have 4 or 8 brothers. Does anyone have 4 or 8 brothers here? You had 8 brothers. Wow. On the one side, there are the children of God, and on the other side, there are the children of the devils. Now you know that Shiv Baba has entered the body of Brahma. Shiva is Baba and Brahma is Dada. He is the father of humanity, Prajapita. That one is the father of souls. He is eternal. That one creates Brahmins at this time. It isn't that Shiv Baba creates salagrams, no. Salagrams are imperishable, the soul. The Father just comes and purifies you. Until a soul becomes pure, how could his body become pure? When we souls are pure, we were Sato Pradhan. We souls are now impure and Tamo Pradhan. How can we once again become Sato Pradhan? This is something that can easily be understood. You have become impure and Tamo Pradhan because alloy has been mixed in you. You now have to become Sato Pradhan once again. All of you will settle your accounts and go to the land of peace and then to the land of happiness. How do souls come down from the incorporeal home? The memorial of that is, what's the memorial of souls coming down from their incorporeal home? Something I don't remember Baba saying before. The memorial of that is the Christians hanging lights on the tree and celebrating the Christmas tree, all the little lights. You know that all the branches are the different religions, the branches on the tree. You have now received this knowledge of how souls come down from up above, number-wise. The land of peace is the home of our souls. It is now the confluence age. All souls will come down from there, and then everyone will return home. Total annihilation does not take place. You know that you have come to Baba to make your fortune and to claim your self-sovereignty once again. This is not just said for the sake of it. We will receive our inheritance by having remembrance. The Father says, children, forget your bodies, including your bodily friends and relatives. There is the one with an image and the one without an image. The one without an image is called the one who cannot be seen. These matters are very subtle. Souls are so tiny. Souls are so tiny. They have to play their parts again and again. These things are not in anyone else's intellects. First of all, make people understand that they are souls and that He is their Father. He is the one whom they remember when they say, O purifier, O God. There is no need to go anywhere else. Therefore, they should only remember the one. Since they remember God, they will definitely receive something from Him. Therefore, what need is there to stumble from door to door? God would have to come from the supreme abode. We cannot go there because we are impure. Impure ones cannot go there. You are now amazed at how wonderful the part of the path of devotion is. Have you ever wondered when Baba says all the things we do in devotion seems like, I don't know, rather mindless things? How could I do that sort of...
Somersaults.
Yeah, exactly. I've actually seen that, people doing somersaults, and people go around a temple, 84 times somersaulting to get liberation and this sort of thing. I mean, it's amazing. People remember the one God and say, O Ishwar, O Supreme Father, O God the Father. Since He is only the one, why do you stumble around elsewhere? That one resides up above. However, all of this is fixed. They all perform devotion according to the drama. They perform devotion without having any understanding at all. You are now becoming sensible in an unlimited way. Only those who follow Srimat become sensible. They cannot remain hidden. They always perform elevated tasks. The Father says, I am the remover of sorrow and the bestower of happiness, and so you children should become just as sweet. You should become the Father's right hands. The Father only loves such children who become right hands. You know that you cannot do so much with your left hand because the right hand only does that which is righteous. This is why the right hand is used for an auspicious task. Worshipping is always done with the right hand. The Father says, become righteous in everything. Who is left-handed here? Wow, quite a few. I've often wondered whether every birth, do you think you'll be left-handed? Is that a sanskara in the soul? Or do you think we swap? I think it must be a sanskara in the soul. You have found the Father, and so you must have that happiness. The Father says constantly, remember me alone, and your final thoughts will lead you to your destination. There is only one direction to take you into salvation. It is remembered that only God knows His ways and means for salvation. Only He is the purifier. He knows that he will purify human beings and that he will send them into salvation from degradation. They make so much effort on the path of devotion, but they don't receive salvation. They don't receive any fruit. It's incredible, isn't it? I mean, the effort people make. I remember there was one brother coming in Sydney, and he said his father was a Catholic. He went to Mass at 4 a.m. every morning of his life. Like just until the day he died, he went to Mass at 4 a.m. I mean, the effort people make, it's incredible, isn't it? They do. They get, it's not an unlimited reward, I think what Baba's saying. Of course they do. They get,
They get intangible.
yeah, they do get reward, but it's not like unlimited, definitely. Only the one Father grants salvation. They don't really get salvation. Whomever devotees worship with love on the path of devotion, I am the one who grants them the fruit of that. That too is fixed in the drama. They automatically receive it depending on their efforts. Now you children too have to become pure by making your own efforts. The Father says, children, remember the sweetest Father. Only He is the Almighty Authority. He makes us so good. You now know everything and are also claiming your inheritance from the Father. Your intellects have this knowledge of the Creator and the creation. You know that you didn't have this knowledge previously. To hold sacrificial fires, do tapasya, listen to the scriptures, etc., is all knowledge of the scriptures. That is called devotion. There is no aim or objective in that. There is an aim and objective in a study. There is one type of knowledge or another. The Purifier Father has given us this knowledge of how to become pure from impure. The Father has given us the knowledge of the beginning, the middle, and the end of the world, and also how the cycle turns. All of us are actors in this. The play is created eternally. You should definitely have this unlimited knowledge. You children know that you are now coming out of extreme darkness and going. Where are we going, Judy? What's the theme of the call of time? You are going into extreme light. You are now becoming deities. You also have to explain that the deity religion is the original eternal religion and that it is now called the Hindu religion. Gradually they will understand this. You children have to become very alert. A lot of children are needed for this. You have to hold a conference in Delhi. Delhi is also called the land of angels, Paristan. It was by the same banks of the river Jamna. Delhi is the capital. It has been ruled by many. It was also the capital of the deities. There should be a very big conference in Delhi. Only in the last few days there's been a lot of discussion about a big conference happening next February in Delhi. However, Maya is such that she doesn't allow you to do this. She creates so many obstacles. Nowadays there is a lot of conflict of natures. You children should do service in unity with one another. When those people are not in harmony, their kingdom is lost. When there are two parties, they overthrow the president. Duality of opinion causes a lot of damage. Then they don't take long to even oppose God. A lot of damage is caused. When the evil spirit of anger comes, don't even ask. And this is why Baba says, the jaggery knows and the bag holding the jaggery knows. The Father is telling you, children, this knowledge of the beginning, the middle, and the end of the world. Whether you imbibe this or not, it is up to you. Isn't it great how Baba says, okay? It is up to you. It depends on your efforts. It isn't that Baba would bless any of you to have mercy for you. There is no question of asking for mercy here. The Father says, if I had to teach this knowledge and yoga through inspiration, why would I come into this dirty world? Inspiration and blessings are the words of the path of devotion. Here you have to make effort. There is no question of inspiration. You have received 3 engines at the same time. What are the 3 engines pulling us?
Dana and myself.
There is the Father. There the Father is separate from the teacher, and later on you also have a guru. Here all 3 are together. The Father says, I am making you worthy of worship. You will then become worshippers. This has to be explained very tactfully. It shouldn't be that someone faints. Have you ever explained the knowledge and someone, they go into shock? So the first and main thing to explain is is the 2 fathers. You know, the first time I went to Madhaban, there was a standard practice that all new students would go into the history hall, because it was a very small organization, and Daddy Manohar Indra would meet. She'd give drishti, and the standard question was, how many fathers do you have? So before I went, Daddy Janki told me, now she's going to ask you this question. Tell her you've got 4 fathers. And so we sat down, she gave meditation. She said, how many fathers do you have? And I said, 4. She looked at me, oh, the poor boy, he's so confused. And then I said, Shiv Baba, Avyak Babdada, Saka Baba, and Lokik Father. She went, oh, and then I said, oh, Daddy Janki set you up, So we have 4 fathers. God is the Father. His birthday, Shiv Jayanti, is celebrated here. He must definitely be making us into the masters of heaven. Heaven was in Bharat alone. The Mahabharat war is now just ahead for the destruction of hell. The Father definitely carries out the establishment of that new world. It is according to the Father's Srimat that we say we will definitely make Bharat pure. Acha, acha. To you sweetest, beloved, long lost and now found children, love, remembrance and good morning from the Mother, the Father, Bapdada, The spiritual father says namaste to you spiritual children, and the spiritual children say namaste to the spiritual father. The essence, number one, just as the Father is the remover of sorrow and the bestower of happiness, so to become equal to the Father. How do we become equal to the Father today? Become very sweet. Constantly perform righteous actions and become a right hand. 2, never allow there to be a conflict of opinion. Don't be caught up with anyone's nature and so oppose one another. Remove the evil spirit of anger. I remember once Baba said, there's gross anger, subtle anger, and refined anger. Gross, blasting from the mouth, I think we all know that one. Subtle is that irritation, frustration, noise, and refined, Baba said, is avoiding somebody. Avoiding another person is a form of anger. Just not wanting, not wanting to speak to somebody. We just sort of walk with our head in the air and we just ignore somebody. Baba said that's actually anger. The blessing. May you become an embodiment of authority by remaining aware of yourself and enabling every action of yours to become a discipline. Whatever action Baba performed by being aware of himself in the physical form became a discipline for the Brahmin family. By having that intoxication of himself, he could say with authority that if anything wrong happened through the Sakar form, God would put it right. By remaining aware of his form, he had the intoxication that no action would ever be wrong. When you children remain stable in your own stage, whatever thoughts you have, words you speak, or actions you perform will become a discipline. The power of example is just incredible, isn't it? It becomes like a discipline. The slogan, make your pillar of purity strong, and that pillar will work like a lighthouse. And the Avyak signal. If your intellect is even slightly touched by impure thoughts or old sanskaras, you cannot be called a perfect Vaishnava. When you see someone doing something wrong, even seeing that has an effect on you. And an account is created. How subtle is that? Just even seeing and registering that the action is not good, a subtle account is created. Similarly, just think, if your intellect is even slightly touched by old sanskaras or impure thoughts, you could not be called a perfect Vaishnava or completely pure. So Vaishnava, what would you say is just totally pure? Perfect example of purity. Thank you. So Om Shanti, good morning. So Baba's versions for today. Shall we just have a few minutes and then share a few thoughts? So one thing that Baba took up this morning was unity and harmony. And for me, just after my years with Baba, I personally feel that this is probably the most important thing, really, to learn how to work together. And I feel it's much more important than expansion. You know, expansion is good, but I think learning to work together is ultimately the result of all our study and yoga, isn't it? To really work together in that way. And I think all of us know, I think it's a part of the human spirit that when we work together in unity and harmony, it's such a sweet feeling, isn't it? It is such a sweet feeling when you feel you're just working together, even knowing we are very different. Our sanskaras, our perceptions are different, but I think being a part of a team or a group that sort of really hums is such an incredible human experience. And we know this is the truth. It sort of feels like this is how it should be, because it just feels right inside. So when there's a clash of sanskaras, when there's differences, when there's conflicts, as Baba was saying today, it's not just a conflict, it's almost like a sense that it's going against my truth, because all of us have in our blueprint 2,500 years of perfect, harmonious interaction. Even in the Golden Age we're different, but so it's sort of recorded in us. And so when I can't get on with somebody, when there's a difference, a conflict, I think sort of deep down it feels like a failure. Because I've known in the past I could get on with people, and now I can't get on with you. It feels like a failure. So to rid myself of that sense of failure, what do? I blame you. I put the responsibility on you, because it rids me of that uncomfortable sense of failure, why I can't get on with you, why we can't have a harmonious relationship. So, and I think in spirituality, the ultimate ignorance is blame, isn't it, really? I mean, to me, the first law of spirituality is I am responsible for how I feel. This is such a deep truth, and I think if we have the courage to take that on board, real transformation happens. But when I pass the responsibility of how I feel, that you are responsible for how I feel, I'm just completely deceiving myself. And that's the culture of our world, isn't it now? It's the blame game that's just happening. It's the pointing of the finger. I heard someone in Australia say that 90% of politics is finding someone to blame. It's true, isn't it? It's like, not me, it's them. It's just a culture. That's just the way life is. And when you think of the Golden Age, a kingdom, Baba says the perfect human system is a kingdom. Now, it's hard to process in this world because kingdoms are corrupt. But a kingdom combines family, in a sense, religion and governance, in a sense, Lakshmi Narayana are like everyone's mother and father. It's like a huge family. And the religion, in a sense, is their example, is what we follow. They're, like even Baba was saying in that, the Avyak signal, that the example becomes like a discipline. It becomes, we see how they treat each other, how they're loving, and that sets the standard. And in a way, their actions become the law. There's no formal law at all because we observe their actions. It's like this incredible harmonious system. And I think it's so deeply recorded in the psyche of all of us, this perfection. And why when relationships don't work, it's really hard, because somehow inside I know I can be much better. I know I can be much higher. And when we come into the Copper Age, that unity and harmony is broken. And those two things that come in, attachment. Attachment means that, I like you, I'm attached to you, I don't like you. That sort of mentality begins. And so this universal feeling of belonging and harmony is broken. And we search, I believe we just search for it again and again and again. Even though we have a bad experience, we remain incredibly idealistic about how relationships and family should really be. And even ego, the more ego comes, what is the role of ego? Ego makes you feel separate. Ego sort of makes you feel disconnected. And at first that incredible sense of belonging to every soul in the Golden Age, the animals, the nature. There's no concept of me and you, us and them. We belong. It's not a mental construct at all that exists in the Golden Age. And suddenly, there's this us and them, me and you, there's these differences. And so ego makes you feel separate from others, separate from your true self, separate from truth, and separate from God. Even in the confluence age, in a way, the more we become soul conscious, we feel closer to our true selves and closer to God. The more ego, we just feel disconnected. And by the time the Iron Age comes, there's such deep conflict in the world, isn't there? And it's like, I accept you, I reject you. Daddy Janki once said, the most tamo pradhan of all sanskaras is to reject another. I think the human spirit needs belonging, doesn't it? And when I just push someone away and just ignore them all, I think it's probably the most violent thing we can do to another. And so based on all bodily differences, gender and age and colour and religion and culture and hundreds of bodily things, we reject. Those who are similar to me, I accept. Those who are different to me. And look at our world, how incredibly divided it is. And then we come into the confluence age, and in a way, Baba heals us and brings us back into that incredible feeling. And the learning place is this divine family. And once Baba said something that really touched me. He said there's two things for success: purity and unity. But then Baba went on to say, if there's a lack of individual purity, there will not be unity. That's deep, isn't it? In other words, it's not about others, it's about me. I have to create a quality of purity in myself. Because in the Golden Age, that incredible sense of belonging is all created because of our individual purity. So the more I work on myself, then we re-establish that sense of that lovely feeling of unity and harmony with each other. And once Daddy Prakash Muni came to Australia many years ago, and a group of us, this was in the 1980s, I think, a group of us was sitting with her, and I asked Daddy, I said, Daddy, how do you run this huge yagya with hundreds of thousands of personalities and all of them 84 birth souls, How do you do it? And I remember a few things she said. She said, first I listen, then I teach. Daddy was never trained in leadership. She just had this innate, when you listen to the heart of others before you give them instructions or suggestions, you really listen. It's such a gift, isn't it, to do that? But the second thing she said, So the second thing she said was that I never try to control anyone. I give freedom. And I think often in the name of responsibility, trying to do our best, when you're responsible for a centre, a department, or anything, if things go wrong, we try to fix it, don't we? And in that, try to control. And yet, such wise psychology, when you give people freedom, they will come to you. The more you control, and even mentally, it may not even be verbally, you're controlling people. You should be like this should be like this. People feel that vibration. And so they won't come. And I think the more we give freedom to people, that's naturally they will come close. But the third thing she said, I trust everyone. And that is so incredibly powerful, because when someone of that quality trusts you, you want to live up to that trust. You want to do the right thing. And such a gift, isn't it? Because we live in a world where just trust has been destroyed on so many different levels. And once in London, there was a discussion, because one of the biggest things in life today is that trust has been broken on so many levels, hasn't it? And mistrust is, most in life, I mistrust you until you prove to me over many years you're trustworthy. That's almost the culture of the Iron Age. It's just you start with mistrust because the trust has been broken over so many lifetimes. But there was a discussion about how to really rebuild trust. It's a big thing, isn't it? And the first point that was discussed was keep your promises. You know how often when we say we'll do something and we don't do it, or we sort of do a U-turn and do something quite different, people then never quite sure, well, what are you going to do? Now, sometimes we have to change, that's true. But if we keep saying, yes, I'm going to do this, and then I keep doing a U-turn, it erodes trust because the person is never quite sure, The second thing is to be a good example. And in a way, that's what the Avyak signal is about. I think Brahma Baba, his actions of consistently being so loving, so clean, all those things, and Daddy Prakash Muni too. When your actions, that's really the most powerful form of leadership, really, isn't it, to be an example? I once read a quote from somebody that something like, example is not the best form of leadership, it's the only form of leadership. And in a way, what we say is one thing, but our behavior, our attitude, when it's constant and consistent, then people really build trust. The third thing was to be benevolent. And really, that's Baba's way, isn't it? That if you look at all the Avyaktamolis, I feel every Sunday, Baba is saying things like, no matter what someone is like, see their value, see their virtue, see their goodness. Baba raises this incredibly high bar. I remember when Baba once said, when someone is 95% fluctuating and difficult and 5% good, what should you see? That 5, isn't Baba great? And there's no excuse, and I really realized this is for me, because the more your thoughts and your feelings are clean, the better you feel. The more you engage in that level of thinking and feeling, you won't feel so elevated. And the fourth thing was be predictable. Meaning, if we come into the center one day, hi, great to see you. And the next day you walk in, you just ignore them like, or you're so friendly sometimes and so withdrawn or aloof other times, or engaged sometimes and totally disengaged. People are never quite sure, what am I going to get? So being unpredictable and moody, maybe we could say moody, it's not a small thing, is it? But to really, it's our character. No matter how good my skills are, that doesn't build trust. It's my personality and my character that's really going to rebuild trust. And and that, in a sense, also, I think, creates that sense of unity and closeness. And another thing that I think really helps is acceptance of difference. You know, we are a Brahmin family. Baba gives us all Srimat. We all know the directions, and we know these directions are so crucial for us to heal and become pure, but we're different. We have different personality types, and I think to develop that sort of big heart to allow people to be different is, and to me, that was one of the things I really appreciated about Nirverbai. You know, Nirverbai, you know, in a huge family like us, some are a little bit different, you know, quite different. But he always reached out to all those different types. And you know, often in the corporate world, when they talk about the evolution of groups, you know, those 4 things they talk about: forming, storming, norming, and performing. Something like that. Forming, storming, norming, and performing. And forming, we come together. It's a bit superficial. Hello, how are you? You know, it's good, but it's just a bit on the surface. As we get to know each other, storming happens. It's normal, actually. We're different. We have different perceptions of reality. It's normal. The issue is how I deal with that difference. Do I allow people to sort of be different, or do I feel, no, it's just this way? Because if there's sort of differences emerge, that's often when we divide. But norming is when I accept difference. And to me, that's like spiritual maturity. And I find that in this world, there's so much division everywhere. Look how much conflict there is everywhere. And if we can live together, even though we are different, we're from different backgrounds, different cultures, different many things, and yet we have love and respect, that's going to glorify Baba. I honestly believe that will glorify Baba. Once Baba said, Baba will be glorified when people of every background, every religion, every culture, every profession, every says, my Baba from the heart. And I really love that we have this maturity to allow people to be different and give that respect, because ultimately, you know, Baba often says respect is the greatest authority. The ability, when you give respect, you become a natural authority. You can become an authority if someone gives you a title. That's not real authority. But the true authority is when I learn to give regard to everybody. And that's really, to me, what Dadiji did in her leadership. She created such a respect for her position because she valued everybody. And I sometimes used to feel she held the whole yagya in her attitude because she held the value of everyone. You know, when she left the body, we were in Shantivan, and who was there when we sat in, you were there, Ram? Yeah. We sat in Dadiji's meeting room, and for 4 or 5 hours, people told stories about Dadiji. It was just amazing. And I remember little Mohini, who was her Brahmani, who lived with her and shared a room with her. She said literally in 50 years, I never heard her say bad words about people. You know, she just had such a drishti of benevolence, and it influenced the entire organization, I would say, just that. It's a high standard for all of us, and her humility too. I remember Chandraben from San Francisco. Excuse my throat. It's my specialty. Chandraben from San Francisco was telling a story that in 1968, a year before Dadiji became the main instrument of the yajna. They were traveling up to Madhavan, and the bhavana of all the centers is to take sacks of rice and dal and this sort of thing to give to the yajna. So when they got to the station, they had, there were 7 of them, they only had 6 berths, 6 sleeping berths. She was only 15 years old. So the 6 sisters, they put all the rice in between, you know how they put it in between the seats. And they all went to sleep, Dadiji and the other 5 sisters, and Chandraben had to sit up on the rice because she had nowhere to stay. And she said that, she was sitting there, the Indian train sort of, you can't sleep like that. And in the middle of the night, Dadiji woke up and saw this young sister like this. And Dadiji got out of her bed, put the sister in her bed, and she stayed up, she sat up all night. What quality of person is that? And that was Dadiji, just her nature, her incredible leadership qualities. But this whole thing of unity, I think, is such an important thing, isn't it? And it's a work in progress for all of us, but I really love that thing, that for success you need purity and unity. And if there's a lack of individual purity, there will be a lack of unity, meaning it's up to me, it's not them. You know how we often think it's them who are, it's actually when all of us do our own work and create that quality of inner cleanliness, then things really hum. Michael. It's coming, I think. I can hear the...
Excuse me. Do that as quickly as possible.
Thank you. Lovely Murli. I'm thinking about the idea of not rejecting anyone.
Oh, sorry, what?
Of not rejecting
Yeah.
others. And I've found that as my Brahmin life has deepened, the friends that I've had who are not on the path, I just find there's less in common, there's less, I just find the time together is different. And increasingly I find the time with Brahmins to be fruitful and affirming. And I'm just wondering, Charlie, how to see everyone and give everyone regard and respect when there's this natural sense that, particularly at this time in the confluence age where so much is going on, that there's a deeper understanding and connection with people that are on the path. Just any thoughts about how we keep the relations with people who are not on the path,
Sister Heber and I were talking about that yesterday, actually. I think that even when I started, when I was living in Melbourne, I had a whole very large group of friends. And then I travelled around the world, settled in London, became a BK. And when I came back, I met most of them. And, obviously I changed my whole approach to things. And I found that, some were really interested and wanted to do a course, some just weren't interested. And I just think it's a natural way of life, that sort of according to your own journey, people come into your life and people go out of your life. But till this day, I've still remained close to a few of them, even though they live a different lifestyle to me. And I think a lot of it is just drishti, because, we value our time, and long conversations that are meaningless, so to speak, when you sort of have truth. On the one hand, you don't want to show disrespect, but it's just sort of like, this commenting on the world, this sort of eternal commentary about what's happening out there. Does it really help anybody? And often it's, the intellectual cleverness about analysing what is happening out there. I mean, and my weakness is if I lose attention, my eyes sort of glaze over, and one of my friends used to say, "Charlie, come back," because I want and I really have to pay attention not to sort of vague out, so to speak. But I feel, that we will automatically gravitate to relationships in this family because I find they're much more meaningful. It's about the real things of life. But, I think till this day I've sustained relationships I've got a large family, a very big extended family, so I keep connection with most of them. I don't see them a lot because I live in Sydney and they're in Melbourne, but I come together and they all know how I live, they all know what I'm into. Many of them have been to Madhaban, a few of them have been to Madhaban. They all know that, and so I keep a sort of a casual friendship with them. But I think it's the natural ebb and flow of life that some relationships may sort of be less close than perhaps they were before because our interests sort of diverge. You're going to say something?
Om Shanti. I'm just reminded of something I read in the book that Sister Judy wrote in her notes about the teachings of Daddy Janki. She had asked her a question, like, what do we do when there's a difference in opinion? And I remember Daddy Janki answering, there's no such thing as difference in opinion. And that really, it was an aha moment for me. I felt like in the deepest level, we're all looking for the same thing. We all have the same goal, even non-BKs. We're all looking for that sense of belonging and love and security. And I think for me, that really helped me. Whenever there is a difference in opinion, or, we might do things differently, but just remembering that the goal is the same. You're doing it for the same reason, even though it might be an extreme behavior, I feel like that creates that sense of unity internally. And then, the judgment will go away, the difference will go away, and it can bring people closer, at least on a subtle level, because we might still choose not to be, not to do the thing, but at least on a subtle level, it can be there. So that has been helpful for me.
Lovely. And sometimes I think when you live a life like this, some of your old family and friends, they may not sort of interact with you so much, but they sort of respect you're on a path of truth. You're really trying to live because some years ago I met an old friend of mine I went to school with, and he's sort of a lawyer and a partner in a top law firm, and he wanted to see me, and we had a coffee together, and then after a while he said, "I'm terrified of dying," and I was the person that he felt he could talk to. You know how that happens sometimes, that even though they may laugh about you and your funny ways, and we're a bunch of weirdos, to a lot of people, but when it comes to really important, they come to you because they sort of see that, you're on some path trying to have meaning in life and purpose and deeper purpose in life. It was really amazing, that this person had achieved so much in the world. On the worldly scales, he said, "I'm terrified of dying." So we had an hour-long conversation about death. It was really quite fascinating, yeah.
Brother Charlie, yesterday and today in the Murli, so I heard the knowledge is not inspiration, or it's not about inspirations. So one day I just I thought about why God needs helpers here. Because if God is God, why he needs help, you know? So could you maybe tell us a little about that? You know, this need from God, you know, he needs helpers here, and this is not about inspiration. So it's not very, very clear for me, like.
I'm not sure I fully caught what you're asking, but what Baba really means is that, you know, look around the world, there's probably hundreds of thousands of teachers who claim to be a channel of God. But look at the world, you know, there's so much conflict, so much this and that. Because Baba's saying the intellect has become tamo pradhan now, which means it's an intellect completely under the influence of body consciousness and sorrow. So it can't grab the absolute purity and perfection of God's teaching. And this is why at the end of the cycle, God comes into the body of Brahma to speak directly himself. It's not Brahma's words, it's actually Shiv Baba's words. But to bring change, you know, in such a huge world, he needs all of us to change, you know. And in a way, when people see that there's a new type of attitude to life, consciousness in life, we become soul conscious, then, you know, we're his helpers just by changing. I believe personally, the part of we Brahmins is our services to change our sanskars. I think there'll be people out there who'll come and give the message. Baba always talks about mics. Then there will be influential people who will come, and they may not even practice Brahman life, but they will just talk about the authenticity or purity or truth of this. But Baba needs a certain number of us who really have different sanskaras. Just like we're saying, there's the depth of conflict in this world, in every family, almost in every workplace, is so profound. It's just infected the entire landscape of this world. And so to have us who are different, and we're a mixture of people, the wonder in this family, mixture of religions and backgrounds and cultures, and yet we can work together. You know, it's an incredible thing, really.
It means different specialties.
Yeah.
Which is needed.
Yeah, exactly. One of my biggest learnings, excuse me, one of my biggest learnings is to learn what I can do okay. We all have specialties, but what I can't do okay. I think that's such a good realization, because sometimes we feel, I have to be good at everything. And I think when you learn to accept, yes, this is my specialty, I can offer this to Baba, but others do other things much better than me and feel comfortable about that. It's a freedom, actually. Otherwise, you can put subtle pressure, I should be good at everything, every part of life. But very few people are like that. And I think a freedom for me, or accepting, you know, gaining self-respect, is actually learning what I don't do very well too. And maybe I can improve that, or just understand other people will do it. And this is an incredible family. The specialties in the Divine Family are just extraordinary. There was one in the Blue Mountains. We had one brother there in our retreat centre, I think for 15 years. I don't think he missed a meal washing the pots. Such a sort of a quiet person, but honestly, the blessings he received just by doing that action and being consistent, never complaining, never commenting, just being present and doing, it won so much love and regard. You know, it's amazing really how a simple specialty can really be something to...
Especially since most people don't want to do that.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
That's
That's exactly right. Can be heavy work. You've seen them in Madhaban. To clean the pots, actually have to hop inside them. They're so big, they clean, you know, they're this big and bigger. You actually have to get inside the pot. It's wonderful. Anyway, maybe we should finish up. Is there? So, is there anything to mention, Kalabin? We should say welcome to those who arrived yesterday. I think Annabelle came yesterday.
Joined us, yes, for the concert. I don't think there's a program today, Judy, right? They're just here preparing, especially the hall and the kitchen for the cot retreat. So welcome. This usual lunchtime, 12:30, and we want to have a picnic. We want to have a picnic. So it might be a little bit early in the evening for a picnic, like we want for Brother Charlie to join us. So instead of the dinner, usual dinner, we'll have a picnic dinner or something like that. Okay. Right in our backyard.
I will be preparing Peace Park for the retreat because that's one of the areas where people are going to sit. So if anybody's interested in doing a little gardening, even half an hour, come and talk to me. I got a nice new little gadget that I'm going to try to cut some weeds.